Chapter 6 Uncharted Waters, Part 1. The hum of the bright lights coming from the ceiling was buzzing inside Mina's mind. She stood on the edge of the swimming pool, her heart pounding in her chest. The sun blazed overhead, casting shimmering reflections on the water's surface. At 11, she had already become a sensation in the swimming community, but as she approached her 12th birthday, the pressure weighed heavily on her shoulders. Today marked the start of the summer competition season, and the stakes felt higher than ever. She glanced to the bleachers, where her adoptive uncle sat, his expression a mix of pride and anxiety. Ever since her miraculous survival during the birth incident, her family had placed immense expectations on her. Mina felt their hopes wrapped around her like a second skin, both comforting and suffocating. She took a deep breath, her mind racing back to the countless hours of training and the whispers of her growing magical abilities, emerging like a tide she couldn't hold back. As she dove into the water, the world around her faded. The cool embrace enveloped her, providing a momentary escape from the noise of expectations. With each stroke, Mina felt a connection to something deeper, as if the water itself responded to her movements. But it wasn't just the water that stirred. It was the magic within her, pulsing just beneath the surface. During practice, she had begun to sense the water's currents in a way that transcended the physical realm, as though it spoke to her in whispers only she could hear. But with this newfound awareness came a level of unpredictability. More than once, during practice, she had caused waves to swell unexpectedly, surprising her coaches and fellow swimmers. Today, as she glided through the water, she focused on maintaining control. She pushed against the temptation to let her magic intertwine with her movements, fearing the consequences of an uncontrolled surge. But when she surfaced after a particularly powerful lap, she couldn't help but glance at the shimmering reflection of the sun in the water, a reminder of the energy that crackled within her. After the race, the adrenaline still coursing through her veins, Mina climbed out of the pool, greeted by the applause of her teammates and the enthusiastic cheers from the bleachers. It was exhilarating, but also overwhelming. She forced a smile, waving to the crowd, while her thoughts lingered on the tightrope she walked between her athletic aspirations and the magical chaos that loomed. That evening, while the family celebrated her performance with a small dinner, Mina felt the familiar tension in the air. Her uncle beamed at her, recounting her accomplishments to the gathered guests. Each compliment felt like an anchor pulling her deeper, reminding her of the expectations she had yet to meet. "Mina, you're going to be the best swimmer in the world," her uncle proclaimed, raising his glass in her honor. "With your talent, there's no limit to what you can achieve." The words echoed in her mind long after the guests departed. Mina excused herself, retreating to her room, the walls adorned with medals and trophies. She sat on her bed, her heart heavy. As the shadows of twilight crept into her room, she felt an unfamiliar stirring within her, a mixture of determination and frustration. That night, as she lay in bed, she closed her eyes and allowed her thoughts to drift. She envisioned herself diving into the pool, the water embracing her like an old friend. But this time, instead of merely swimming, she imagined harnessing her magic, letting it flow with each stroke, guiding her through the water with an effortless grace. But with every beautiful vision, a flicker of doubt crept in. What if her powers spiraled out of control? What if she caused chaos instead of elegance? The fear of failure loomed larger than her dreams, casting a shadow over her aspirations. Days turned into weeks, and with each passing moment, the pressure mounted. Mina's name appeared in local articles, her image gracing the front pages, accompanied by headlines that heralded her as a rising star. But the attention, once thrilling, began to feel like a spotlight illuminating her every flaw. At school, her classmates treated her differently, some with admiration and others with envy. A friend she had known since childhood, Alara, began to distance herself, the warmth of their friendship replaced by an awkward tension. Mina felt the shift keenly, the loss of a connection that had once felt effortless. "Mina, are you still going to the beach with us next weekend?" Alara asked, her voice laced with hesitation. "Of course," Mina replied, forcing a smile. "I wouldn't miss it." But as the date approached, Mina's heart sank. The thought of relaxing at the beach, carefree and magical, felt like a distant dream. Instead, she envisioned the endless training sessions and the pressure to perform, knowing her uncle's expectations loomed just beyond the horizon. On her 12th birthday, the day arrived with a sense of bittersweet celebration. Her adoptive family organized a small gathering filled with balloons, cake, and laughter. But beneath the surface of the festivities, Mina felt the weight of her ambitions pressing down. As her friends sang happy birthday, she couldn't shake the feeling that the candles on her cake represented not just her age, but also the growing list of expectations she was expected to fulfill. Later that evening, while the party continued downstairs, Mina slipped away to the backyard. The moon hung low in the sky, casting a silvery glow over the garden. It was here, away from the prying eyes, that she allowed herself to breathe. In the stillness, she closed her eyes and focused on the magic within her. Drawing on the energy that swirled inside, she let it flow through her fingertips, watching as faint sparks of light danced in the air. The magic felt alive, a reminder of her true potential. "I'm going to find a way to balance this," she whispered to herself, determination igniting within her. "I won't let it overwhelm me." As the stars twinkled above, Mina made a silent promise to embrace her magic, to challenge herself as an athlete, and to navigate the uncharted waters ahead with grace. With newfound resolve, she stepped back into the warmth of her home, ready to face the world, not just as a swimmer or a magical prodigy, but as Mina, the girl who dared to dream beyond the surface.